Hey, everybody, it's Natalie B. McKenzie with The Whole Woman, and welcome to this week's episode of Living Life Authentically with yours truly. So, it's been a crazy week. Last week was lots of fun. So much to do, so many places to go. The Whole Woman was busy. Natalie B. McKenzie was busy, ha ha ha, in the third person. It just seems like all things bloomed and all the hats came out and all the ladies' events and Mother's Day events were set, ready to go. Well, I'm happy to report it was all great and successful. We had the pleasure of flying down to Central Florida to join the people in Sanford, Florida, because they are really on a tear to work on the cross cultural relationships there. And we were happy to have been asked to join them. Great group of women. And we want to say a big shout out and thank you to Maria Louisa Lord of Lord and Lord Company. Okay, so you guys know that I am really challenged by the gun violence. What in God's name is going on? We've asked that question over and over. So this week, I am asking all the state senators in the state of New Jersey, and we happen to have good common sense gun laws here. Thank you, Lord. We're so grateful. And we're grateful that we really haven't seen any of those crazy incidents here. But senators, lawmakers, representatives, congressmen, and women, please, please, our children. The stories of children surviving but being blooded because their parents were murdered, laying atop them to protect them. We are creating a generation of traumatized children. We don't know what that's going to lead to. I am an adult. I'm at that stage that we now get called middle aged. Yeah, I'm traumatized. Please, can we think of our children? Our children's memory of school, first day of school, should not be a fire drill. Help us protect our babies, please. And can we also remember we are not here to police one another. Leave people alone, and killing your fellow man who's having a mental break that is causing no harm to someone else is not okay. Please remember, we promised, we said we would try. Love thy neighbor, love your neighbor. Just try to be kind. Okay, we're going to try to get back to regular order around here, but this is traumatized Natalie from all the gun violence. Okay, all right. Now let's be Natalie B. McKenzie for Living Life Authentically. Not quite sure they're any different, but we have an amazing guest for today. Speaking of hats, I spent last week wearing a hat just about every day, and I loved every moment of it. We have an amazing milliner joining us today, and she has a historic relationship with hats, great story to tell. She is one of the first African American milliners in the US. And has a millinery in Harlem. She has had the Rosebud Millinery in Harlem since 1993. She's created unique hats and hat pins. Ladies and gentlemen, she's here to join us today, and she's here to tell us all about what she's up to. Help me welcome Harriet Rosebud.
Good, good. Should I say good evening?
Good evening. I should have put a hat on today.
Oh yeah. Why not?
Why not?
Yes, yes,
Welcome to the Whole Woman. Welcome to Living Life Authentically. We are
yes.
delighted to have you. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm doing really, really great today. I'm just, living life authentically.
Love it. That beautiful smile, the funky glasses, and what you've got on your head. I cannot wait to hear that story. But
Yeah.
tell me, Harriet, how does a young woman, a young Black woman, grow up to be a millionaire? Tell me where you were born and where you were from. Give us a little context of your family.
Okay. I am from St. Petersburg, Florida, which is, for those of you who don't know, is on the west side of Florida. It is quite popular right now as the place to be and go and hang out. But at the time, it was very much a part. It was very much movement central, and by that I mean civil rights movement. And so that was my backdrop. my parents were very active in the movement. My mother was the part of the sit-in, a lot of sit-in at the old McCrory. I don't know if you remember the McCrory's uh,
No, no.
department store. Um, if you visit any civil rights museum, they were very resistant to having people sit in, people of color sit in and dine. And so my mother was very courageous. And I remember watching her, and she would always do it so fashionably well. Usually her Sunday best, and she would wear hats to when she went to the movement. I watched her when she went to hat stores, um, and I watched her when she really kind of picked her really special hat that she wore for many years. Back then, you would get one hat and you'd wear it for like 3 years. So yeah, so that's really my backstory.
So you're from St. Petersburg, Florida. Wow, and that's a beautiful story because context, there's sometimes I'm missing the gaps on details of civil rights activism, especially in smaller towns around America, because I'm an immigrant. And so I continue to learn more. So when I talk with guests like yourself, this is very exciting for me. Thank you for sharing and having
Yeah,
such a fashionable yet deliberate
yes,
and activist mom. That must have raised something up in you as a young girl. Tell
it
us
did.
what you were like as a preteen and what were your interests?
Well, I was always interested in watching fashion back then. Back then we had Fashion Fair, we had Jet magazine. I couldn't wait to either go to the newsstand or wherever my mother would go, and she would buy me magazines. And Fashion Fair was my magazine of choice. I would watch these elaborate costumes, and the women don their best, and so fashion was very much a part of my younger years, but it didn't take root until I got older. I went away to college and studied political science. I thought I was going to be an attorney.
I thought you were going to tell me you went off to college and studied fashion. I was going to say, wow, that's forward thinking.
No, because my mother thought that was not what I should be doing. She thought, like a lot of parents, that I should get a real job.
Of course.
And so I found out very quickly that that really wasn't my passion. Although I'm inspired by it, I spent 10 years in being on the community board in Harlem as the chair of arts and culture. So I spent many years doing grassroots work, but I still was, my day job was fashion. So I just finished my last assignment in Harlem last year as being the chair for the West Side. I did that for about 10 years,
But
representing
hold on a
artists
minute.
all over.
Hold on a minute, please, Harriet. Forgive me for interrupting you. We talked about you being in Florida, you studied in Florida, but then you're talking about Harlem. So we're missing a whole lot in between.
Yeah. So I moved to New York in my later 20s. And I started doing what I thought my mother wanted me to do, which was get a job. And I started out in banking, and I started out, and then I moved to human resources, thinking that's the path that I had to take. So I did that for about 9 years, right? And then I was laid off from my corporate job, right? And then at that time, I said, okay, I need to pick which way. I need to either figure out how to go back into a corporate America, or I need to take my own path, which has always been my passion, fashion. So that's what I did, and I never looked back.
Wow, that's fabulous. So some 30 years later, here you
Mhm.
are. So
Here I am.
did you start your milliner then or when how did you get licensed or trained
Mhm.
as a milliner?
So I went to FIT because I figured I needed to really learn the trade. And I'm still learning the trade. It's really quite interesting. So I figured I needed to learn how to do this, and I got my certificate of completion from FIT, where I just studied millinery design, and then the real work came when I started working in hat factories, and there are in America very few hat factories. Just you just don't see them. And so I happened to get a job in one of the largest factories in the U.S. at that time, making hats for women. I moved up the ladder to become their chief designer, and that was really pretty interesting because it really honed my skills. And now I have a factory. I'm one of the few African Americans that have a actual standing hat factory in the U.S.
So you manufacture all your hats here.
I do.
Okay.
It's so cool.
And you're in Harlem?
Well, actually, it's a little outside of Harlem. It's in Mount Vernon because you need space.
Yeah, that's even
Right?
closer. You're going to be sick of me.
Yeah, right.
I love
Absolutely.
it.
And I needed space because
Mhm.
hats, you have to have an open space to run those machines. I have about 8 employees that work for me. They're working right now because this is Mother's Day
Uh-huh.
season. So
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
This
So
is
fun.
exciting. So 30 years ago, you started the Rosebud Millinery.
Yeah.
Where in Harlem are you located? And tell me about that journey because I wonder how has fashion evolved? How has the business evolved? And how has the economy shaped and reshaped your business? Because for 4 years, nobody was wearing a hat.
Yes, but Black women always wore hats to church, and you could always count on that. So we did. We counted on that. I worked in Philadelphia in the hat factory for many, many years until I opened up my own shop. And so actually my shop is in Mount Vernon, but I I really learned the trade in the factory, and I learned not only the trade, I learned how to be an entrepreneur because making designing something is great, but you have to run a business. And as you said before, how has it changed? Fashion has changed incredibly because when I started selling to stores. And so ask yourself, how many stores do you see around? Very few, right? I mean, I don't know any real hat stores, right? So I had to pivot. I had to pivot. And I did that. Luckily, I did that 10 years uh, ago, about 10 years ago. I started realizing that I needed to find a different audience. So
Mhm.
instead of selling to the stores, I started selling directly through the consumer through social media. That turned from 10% of my business to 95% of my business is done through social media, to where we are working every day, uh, making orders from people all over the world that we've never met. So when the pandemic came, unlike many stores that closed down, they had nowhere to go. So they would shop. So I actually did quite well.
When you mention it, I'm thinking about it. Wait a minute. If you're going to Sunday church online and if you're going to be on camera, you want a hat because that's about all they're going to see.
Yes, that's it. It was the craziest thing.
I love
My business, it was so overwhelming that first month that I couldn't even believe it.
Wow.
And a lot of people have that story of, oh, it wasn't great. And it did slow down because people started going back to work and started doing things like that. But I kind of gained a new audience and a new customer base. I added to my collection. I started doing men hats, and all this came from people sitting at home.
Harriet, I wonder though, because I'm avidly scouring the internet for hats, always hats and
Oh,
fascinators. And I am just really challenged at the fact that I hadn't run into you before. Maybe I might have seen a hat of yours and not made the connection,
okay,
because I have an interesting little hat collection myself, I might say. And I
okay.
love hats. I love my hats and the gloves. I cannot wait. So tell me what you have coming up for Mother's Day, because you mentioned Mother's Day, and this I'm sure is your busiest season.
It is. We get no sleep. We work literally around the clock. We do.
Wow.
And I have to smile because, it really helps a lot. But this is Mother's Day season. And yes, it is very, very busy. But the following week is the Great American Hat Show. And that is a show that I created to to highlight the art form. Yes, it is wonderful to make hats, but we are the only factory that makes every kind of hat. Some factories make Western hats, some factories make, church hats. We make every kind of hat, right? Um, so this show is about uh, the art form and letting and showing the creativity of the work and the designers that we use in the show. Um, it is a show that's not a fashion show, but I call it a fashion event. Right?
Mm.
It is an event where we use all mediums of entertainment, from dance to to comedy to acting to poetry, to tell our story. And I like to, in my shows, I like to uncover or unfold to my audience fashion events or things in history that might be of interest. And so this year we're doing the 70s. It's kind of cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you dress up in your fabulous 70s outfit.
Okay.
And back then, do you remember what we were wearing in the 70s?
I remember plaids. I
Okay.
remember bell bottoms.
Yes,
I
yes,
remember afros and
yes,
the Applejack hats.
yes. That's it. You said it all. That's it. Apple jacks and floppies and flowers in the hair, and all these kinds of things. But we also tell a serious side, and we talk about the Battle of Versailles. Do you know what that is
Mm,
about?
no.
Have you ever heard? Okay, so the Battle of Versailles. This is really
Oh,
interesting.
Battle of Versailles. Oh, yes. Oh,
Yes,
yes.
right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it is a time in history where ready to wear moved to center stage,
Mhm.
and it was done through 8 Black women who decided to show their simplicity and their beauty. We talk about that story because we want to show through fashion we have made many strides and many changes. And so that story, these women went overseas with just simple outfits and simple sticks in the hair and simple flappy hats, and they changed and moved the world to now where you see everyday modern, what we call ready to wear. Because before that, women were having their clothes made through ateliers and through custom made shops and stuff like that. So these women really rocked and changed the world, and so we try to recreate that moment in history. So it's kind of cool.
So this will be on Saturday, May 20th.
Yeah,
See, the hours are from 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. Now,
yeah.
I happen to have three other events on the 20th. Don't ask, because I don't know which of the three. I have to pick one. I have so many things going on. But if I literally only had 2 hours to show up, what 2 hours must I not miss?
Oh wow, the show. So I bring my milliners out to teach
Ooh.
during that time. So you will actually make your own fascinator. It's pretty cool. So that is $20. You make your own fascinator and you wear it. We teach you all kinds of things that she does every day. And so that's pretty cool. That's early in the morning. But the show itself, I would say, which starts at noon, is the one that you don't want to miss. It's really
Oh
cool.
boy.
Cool lighting. Everybody, it's like a hat convention. Everybody shows up in their
Oh,
costumes and outfits, and Apple Jacks and afros, and just cool
this is
glasses and stuff.
exciting. This tell me a little bit about the partnerships that you have created for this event because this sounds like a major production, a major undertaking. I cannot imagine you're doing this all by yourself. Mind you, you look like the kind of Renaissance woman who could do all things.
Oh no, no. I do have some amazing creatives. Larry Underwood, an amazing menswear designer. He is doing all the Superfly clothing from scratch, from bell bottoms to those remember the jackets that were made, they had little square pockets
Oh
and
God, yeah.
uh, different
On
colors.
the sides.
Remember the platform shoes and all those kinds of things? He's helping
Absolutely.
me. He helps me every year recreate fashion. And so he's really a good partner. The brownstone, I know you know the brownstone in
Yes.
Harlem. My sister, my best friend, one of my best friends, Princess Jenkins, also provides the fashion flair for
Oh,
the evening. So it's really cool. Sophia Davis, amazing a lady who owned Fashion Avenue News. She's bringing. We do this one scene called Emerald City, which is these outrageous costumes, and she has created, and myself have created these amazing, huge um, headpieces and garments and robes, and it brings me back to fashion fair because that is there where I got the bug to do all of this elaborateness. Yeah.
this is wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking with none other than Harriet Rosebud of the Rosebud Millinery. Is it officially Harlem, New York, or is it actually
It's
Mount
in
Vernon?
Mount Vernon.
It's Mount
Yes.
Vernon. So we've been
Yes.
misspeaking and saying in Harlem, but we must visit
But I'm
the
a Harlemite. I am.
on Har-
I love Harlem.
I think the whole woman needs to get a whole bunch of ladies together and we have to come up and make an event of coming to visit you. And
Absolutely.
I'm going to do my best to come out on the 20th. So that's on May 20th, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Um, at the tell me the Alhambra.
Alhambra Ballroom.
Yep.
That's on the corner of I think it's what is that? 126 and 7th Avenue.
Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard.
Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard.
Yep.
Yes. So
This
that's
is
2116 Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard, right across the street from the state office building.
So not only is this woman owned, not only is she black female, but she is also made in America. All the things
Yeah.
we want to stimulate and stir up the economy. And she kept the ladies coiffed and decked all throughout the pandemic. I am so excited for you. Tell me a little bit about the headdress you're currently wearing. Do we refer to that as a hat?
Turban. This is a turban. Remember in the 60s and 70s, women used to wear turbans, and I thought I would wear one today because sort of kind of reflects what we're doing here. But women used to wear turbans, elaborate turbans made of brocade and all kinds of elaborate colors. They would adorn them with beads and buttons. So this is my turban for the day. It's sort of Aretha Franklin wore them. Or a lot of women back then wore turbans, and this is the modern day version of it. And so this hat, I can, if I really wanted to wear it out for the evening, I kind of push it up, right? But if I want to wear it like around town, I kind of shape it and kind of move it down so you can play with it.
I love it. It's lovely and flexible. Tell
Yeah.
us where we can get tickets for May 20th event and tell us how we can stay in touch with you and get online to your e-store and purchase more of your headwears.
Yeah, Harriet Rosebud Hats is the central place you can get all of my creative work, and you can also buy tickets to the show on the site. It's right there. It'd say Great American Hat Show, so you won't miss it.
Awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's Harriet Rosebud of the Harriet Millinery, and she presents to us the Great American Hat Show on Saturday, May 20th, 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. at the Alhambra Theater, Ballroom rather, in Harlem. This is on Adam Clayton Boulevard, Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard, right in the middle of New York City in Harlem. You can't miss it. It's such a
Yes,
pleasure talking with you. I am
yes.
so excited to check out all the hats. I must admit, I have been poking around and checking
Okay.
out, and
All
I
right.
see some things I love, and I
Okay.
must come see this show. I'm
Please
my
do.
calendar to come in and check it out. But then I may need a new hat for that.
Well, girl, call me. You have my number. Call me. I'll make sure you are had it for everything you need to go to, for the galas, for everything. Because
Love
it's
it.
always you can wear a hat anywhere. That people don't think that, but you really can. It depends on the hat. And so we will find something from veil. We do veils, everything. We do
Oh,
it.
we're ready to learn. Tell us again your social media handles because I want to make sure our guests know how to follow up with you.
Okay, so you can on Instagram is at Harriet Rosebud Hats. Facebook is Harriet Rosebud Millinery. You can reach out to me, and of course the website is harrietrosebudhats.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Harriet.
Yes,
You
thank
wear your
you.
name with style and grace, and I'm
Oh, thank
loving
you.
the glasses, and that smile of yours is
Thank
absolutely
you.
infectious. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me, ladies. Come out and have a good time, and I look forward to seeing you.
Same here. And happy Mother's Day to you. Even if you have no children, you have birthed
No,
some amazing hats.
thank you. Every day.
So, speaking of Mother's Day, we want to wish all the moms out there a happy, happy Mother's Day. As you all know, my mom is near and dear to my heart. She lives within me, she shines through me. And Lorna Bowen, you have been just an amazing guiding light in my life. My mom transitioned over 20 years ago, and though she went on to be with the Lord and to hang out with my dad even more, she still is very present in mine and my sister's lives. But I'm a lucky girl because I got blessed to marry a man whose mom became my mom. And if you all know anything about me, you hear me talk about mom all the time. And whenever I speak of mom, I really am speaking of my husband's birth mother, who was really my mother. He just happened to be the one that brought her in my life. But we lost mom last year. So this year, I am celebrating both mummy and mom as they have transitioned on to the Lord, but their spirits are with us. I have been blessed, loved, and mothered. To my sisters and mother friends who are here on earth, I celebrate you. We wish Deidre Tate, who is such a pioneer and phenomenal force behind the whole woman, we wish you, your sister Janine, your mom Sandy, a happy, happy Mother's Day. And Nellie Jenkins, we call you the mama of the love circle. We wish you a happy Mother's Day as well. To my sisters, happy Mother's Day, and so many more people. Now, the Whole Woman has a special gift for those of you who are still shopping for Mother's Day. Feel free to visit us online because we have a special discount for you. Our Mother's Day special on the Lady Miss collection is purchase 2 candles and you will receive a hand sanitizer at no cost. We'll have this shipped out to you ASAP. Cost is $50. Shop now. You should be able to scan the barcode on our screen. That may pop up or not, but if not, there's the barcode. Visit our shop at bit.ly. That's bit.ly/TWW Lady Mist. And you can also visit the Whole Woman, TWW, thewholewoman.com website, and you can also shop there. It's twww.thewholewoman.com. Now, you may remember Mother's Day gift number 2 from us. Get your mom a spot at the spring summer retreat. We have some phenomenal news to share, exciting partnerships coming up. We're going to tell you all about it next week. Woo, If you're not registered for our newsletter, you must. This week's newsletter is going to feature our Mother's Day special, highlighting some special moms, and we'll also have more information on how you can register to join us for the spring summer the Whole Woman Retreat. I'm Natalie B. McKenzie. I wish you love. I wish you light. I remind you, be kind to your neighbor. Take a moment to smile, take a deep breath, and be patient with those you are coming in contact with. I wish you enough life to live, enough joy to give, enough love to share. I wish you enough. Happy birthday, Marley. Good night.